is a live view.
Out here it's windy. We're on top of the booth right now here at JPII. So if you're driving by Gallatin Road listening, you're going to be able to see us up here underneath the tarp because it's going to be rain, it's going to be cold, it's going to be windy. That is a for sure thing that's going to happen tonight that we're going to have to deal with. That's another thing. This weather starts really. This weather can change games in a heartbeat. Even if JP2 has the upper hand, which they do in this game, you got to watch out for fumbles. You got to watch out for miscues. That kind of weather and this kind of weather does that very thing.
That is a freaking
I'm excited for this game. The weather is very terrible, but it's going to be a great game. I'm so glad that you are here on the WHIN Radio Network for it with us. Well, we'll go and take a quick break as they're going to do the national anthem as well as the prayer. Back after this, right here on the WHIN Radio Network.
Where's that jacket?
Loud and clear.
We're gonna die up here. Let's keep it down here. I always pictured we'd die up here. I just didn't think it'd be today.
Loud and clear, Austin.
Did he show you how to load up the gate after we switched to flag? I'm gonna point to you when I want flag then. Switch it. Again, Steven. Click it again. Yep. It's the return of Coach Jocelyn here on a sentimental night, as for possibly our last time we come to you here from the Bird's Eye at Jim Carrell Athletic Complex. Here on the campus of Pope John Paul II High School is tonight your JPII Knights battle it out on senior night versus the Goodpasture Cougars. A partial rivalry night, as we like to call it in basketball, as Good Cougar is our secondary rival in basketball. We play them each and every year, rotating on and off between home and away. Details on that one. It's a chilly night for football, but nothing will ever be able to top when it snowed versus White House. So, you know, happy mediums. My name is Oliver Antone, and you're going to be hearing my beautiful, beautiful voice throughout the rest of tonight, as it's senior night. And you're tuning in to the one, the only Night Sports Network, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. The Cougars won the coin toss, and they have chosen to defer, meaning JP2 will receive first. What do you mean, what's happening? That looked like a horror movie jump cut there. You ever realize that? Did you fix it? Glad. And we're off, and it's muffed by Roberts. Unbelievable there. There's a tent pole right there. Good. Oh, there's a tent pole in the way of our shot. Ah. Well.
Roberts looks like he's going to be running that running back spot tonight. I believe this will be the first time all season we've seen him.
So Antoine Roberts gets into the starting spot. Not Nolan Underhill, note the senior Nolan Underhill. Not starting. Nixon fires and finds Onaganor. And immediately on the move, there are the Knights. And so we're right into this game here. Coach Jocelyn is not prepared for this one, that's for sure.
Now the Knights will be going from right to left tonight, going towards their north end zone. Here on the hill.
Austin.
In their navy blue tops, navy blue helmets,
Just hit okay.
white bottoms. Shotgun formation, 2 wideouts to the left, 1 to the right. Motion is keep from the right to the left, and it'll be a QB keeper on.
And Ben Nixon's going to keep there for the Knights.
And a little more than a couple. He's going to pick up, I believe, 6 on the QB keeper.
It is 2nd and 4 for the Knights.
They're wearing all white unis with blue helmets. Shotgun formation, 2 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Roberts to his right, now a handoff to Roberts up the middle. Roberts got a little space, he gets up.
And Antoine Roberts is going to take that one for the Knights for a first down and then some. So he's going to bring the Knights to the 50-yard line. So some of you may be wondering, where is my partner in crime, Garrett Bennett? Well, he's preparing at practice tonight for the Knights, who take on Father Ryan. Yes, Father Ryan on Monday at Centennial Sportsplex at 8:30. They'd really appreciate if you'd come out. Max Galpin, if you were listening, I know you'd appreciate that. Underhill on the field. And Underhill gets the handoff there and gets caught there. Just a poor there. His uniform must hanging a little loose. However, Onaganor claims that these uniforms are very tight. So, still, Ben Nixon's wearing his hand warmers behind him. I kind of want the reasoning behind that. That's for sure. Ooh. Pardon me. Motion in the backfield from Albert, and Nixon's going to take for himself for some more yards there, and Nixon gets a first yard and about 6 after that. So Nixon will get about an 9 yard, because we were 3 yards, so Nixon will get about a 9-yard carry there. The Knights obviously running a very similar style offense to when they played Lipscomb and Whites Creek at the beginning of the year. Obviously that changed immediately once they had to play Father Ryan Brentwood Academy, as the rain has started to come down. The poor Blue Man Group in costume. And Nixon fumbles there on a poor handoff. Roberts was not able to hold on to that one, and so the Knights, no gain there. So it's going to be 2nd and 10 here with 9 minutes and 37 seconds left in this first quarter. Your JPII Knights wearing their home blue on white. Tell you what, when they played their second home game here, they looked like the color rush jerseys for the NFL when they played BA. And the snap. And once again, it's another QB keeper. And Nixon gets through. Nixon's going to find his way to the 10, and he's going to trip and fall at the 9-yard line. Nixon gets inside the 10-yard line there. So it's a first down for the Knights there. Ben Nixon really racking in some yards tonight. We'll keep you updated on the Baylor and Father Ryan games, as those will inevitably determine the playoff matchup. And Underhill pushed there, but stuffed for sure. So it's going to be a 2nd and 8. So the Knights student section making some noise. Quite a decent crowd for a night that's supposed to be rainy, filling up their proud spots in the crowd as more and more rain comes down. Nixon ready, Nixon snaps. Hands off to Underhill. Underhill finds his way around the hole, and for a touchdown, Knights. And so JP2 strikes first. So we are immediately on top on this one. Coach Jocelyn facing an entirely different team than the one that he faced originally. And Nicholas Zanger sets to kick for the Knights. And Zanger's going to run it for himself. Unbelievable for a two-point conversion. No one saw that one coming for sure. Unbelievable there. So the Knights walk out with 8 points. Instead, I don't even know what to tweet here, is all I can say. Oh, boy. So, Coach Geisinger clearly knowing that Coach Jocelyn will know the system that he is going to play. Obviously, they worked with each other for quite some time. With Coach Geis knowing this, it's very easy to assume that the Knights want to throw Coach J off, and Coach J obviously was not expecting that there. This senior class is the last class to have had Coach J as a coach. So that's quite the interesting fact here. My freshman year, Coach Jocelyn was there my freshman year. And Zanger sets to kick. And it's got quite the spiral on it there, and it gets over there. It's bobbled at the 1-yard line, and so he is met with JP2 defenders at the 23-yard line there to be put down and stopped. And immediately the JP2 defense, led by Ed Aguilar, is on the field. Jake Moats does not seem to be on there, so may still be injured, Moats that is. So JP2 could either play Baylor or Father Ryan coming up in the playoffs. Both teams will definitely be a tough matchup as the ball is on the 23-yard line here. Goodpasture gets its first shot at challenging JP2's very tight defense, although lacking in some spots. As the JP2 crowd chants D-up as we await the snap quite some time. And he snaps and goes for the handoff there and immediately is taken down. Coach Jocelyn was known for the handoff when coaching JP2. He and Cordarius Hunter really spent some time together. Andrew Albert was able to make the stop there for the JP2 Knights. Only reason I miss Garrett is he could hold the roster up. That's not true, Garrett. If you're watching, I love you, bud. All right. In shotgun formation are the Cougars here. And the snap goes around there, fires out of the pocket there. It's no good. It is dropped there. I said no good. Mr. O'Neill would scold me in this moment. He says that I say it a little too much. So an incomplete pass there, however. Dropped pass for sure. As it's 3rd and 10 here from the 23-yard line. JP2 hoping to force Coach J to punt. Goodpasture had a great run last year under Jermaine Mason and Coach J. They made it to the Final Four in their division's playoffs. Quite the feat, actually. And the snap. And Albert's trying to come around there. And Darden is going to come on with the sack there. That's going to be Dallas Darden, or Devin Darden, I'm sorry, with the sack there for the Knights. So it's a large loss there as they knock him to the 14-yard line. So it will be 4 and 19, which gives decent field position for the Knights. Underhill is there to return as well as Keaton. And the punt is short. Underhill has it and doesn't call it fair as he begins to take it for himself. They're getting to the 40-yard line, followed by the 30 to the 20. There's a flag on the field, but Underhill makes it to the 5-yard line. We have 2 flags on the field. This could be an illegal block in the back on the Knights. It looks possibly. It's the student section chants, it's too easy. I think we all have to be proud of me the fact that I guessed the right penalty today. Mr. Conley watches this. He judges me very harshly, I think. So the ball is on in Goodpasture territory at the 33-yard line there for the Knights. So JPII regroups. Obviously, Underhill with a very decent run. That was much better field position, but still within good range for the Knights, at least field goal range, according to Nicholas Zanger. And Nixon in the pistol. Tries to look for the screen pass there. He's going to find Underhill, but it's too wide. Underhill definitely had an easy chance for the breakaway there, but was unable due to a high pass from Ben Nixon. Garrett would probably credit that to a high snap, although there may not have been one in sight. It's Knights Sports Network, not Knights TV.
Not a bad play to reenact again, though. Shotgun formation, 2 wide out to the left, 1 to the right.
Moving in the backfield for Keaton. Keaton gets the fake handoff, and Nixon's going to try to take for himself there for about a 4-yard gain.
6 minutes, 16 seconds left here in the first quarter. 8-0 once again the score. JPII goes down, scores on their first drive, stops Goodpasture on their first drive, and now has the ball after a punt and a 3-and-out by the Cougars.
So it's 3rd and 7 for the Knights. Definitely well within field goal range for Nicholas Zanger, or so he claims. And once again, movement in the backfield from Zanger. And Nixon, once again, is forced to take for himself. And Nixon laterals away as Underhill finds his way through the hole and gets his way to the 15-yard line. So right there in a beautiful lateral there. I was going to call it a flea flicker, but it wasn't. As he laterals to Underhill. Underhill, smart with the movement, finds a hole and is able to get his way to for a Knights first down, which means it's going to be 1st and 10 on the 16-yard line as JPII moves just a little bit closer. So that's not a time to plug Wemmy. And Nixon snaps, and once again he's going to give to Underhill. Underhill is going to fire to Nixon, and Nixon is going to wire his way through for a touchdown, Knights. What a way to get to the end zone as Nolan Underhill passes. What a play.
Or you could call it the silver screen pass. It has a lot of names, but he flips it back to Underhill. Underhill runs to the right like he's going to try to get a field, but he cuts it back. Nixon is
Underhill is definitely well prepared for that one.
Don't say that too much as the quarterback is the receiver in this situation.
And unbelievably, Ben Nixon was the receiver as Zanger puts it up and through the uprights for a 15-0. There are 5 minutes and 5 seconds left on this clock.
And take a break, and we will get back to the action once the play resumes right here on the WHIN Radio Network.
Tell you what, that was quite the play there from Nixon as we await kickoff on this one. Definitely did not see that one coming for sure. The QB goes past. The Knights have used the ghost pass before. However, they have never had Ben Nixon as the intended receiver. And obviously Nixon, with wide open field range, was able to make it all the way down, thus giving the Knights a 15-0 lead over the Cougars. The Cougars only have 1 win on their season thus far. They look to improve upon that tonight. I know Coach Jay sees this as a tough game, but I also know he sees this place as home. He was a good man. And Zenger kicks off once again with a beaut of a spiral there as that one able to get on, and Roberts is going to try to take him down, and it looks like a bunch of players there. It looks like Nick Pratt as well as Underhill is able to take those down. So Roberts and Pratt. I'm very confused with what the Goodpasture student section is doing. You can see that like half of them are out there. And I don't get it. And their fullback's going to get his way through and continue to push on the Knights there. And it looks like number 17 for the Goodpasture Cougars is going to look for a flag. There is none. And so they get the ball to the 48-yard line. It looks like 47, I'm sorry. So the Cougars back into formation. As the crowd echoes off of the building, something we haven't heard in quite some time. And it's a fumble there. And it looks like Roberts is going to pick it up for the Knights. And it will be Knights possession there. And so JPII with another beautiful defensive drive. So with a strip there and immediately on to the ball. My voice correct there. It was James Wright who picked up that fumble for the Knights, especially with the strip there as well. So with that, it's Knights possession for the third time in this quarter with 4 minutes and 17 seconds remaining. I don't think Goodpasture's been on the field for more than 2 minutes. Their offense, that is. And Nixon hands off to Roberts, and Roberts immediately finds his way through, and Roberts continues to the 12-yard line there. That's freshman Antoine Roberts, who is known to have great prospect for sure. He's a proud member of the House of Gregory. Don't know if you were wondering that, Stephen, but he is. Speaking of Stephen, it's time I introduce my team for tonight. My name is Oliver Antoine. If you're just tuning into us now, I'm joined alongside Stephen Smart on the video board and tech, followed by Austin White on camera. Emily Gibbons and Garrett Bennett wish they could be with us tonight, but they sadly cannot, and Tessa did not seem to care. So, yeah. No, she didn't seem to care that there was hockey. She didn't even apologize. All right. And Keaton is going to try to find his way through, but is immediately stuffed, and it looks like we have another fumble on the play. This one possibly Goodpasture possession. It will be Goodpasture possession. So Roberts' drive goes to waste there. But it looks like Keaton is injured on the field. With that, we're going to take a quick break. You're tuning into the Knights Sports Network. We'll be right back. And we're back. You're tuning into the one, the only Knights Sports Network. Brandon Keaton back on his feet as Goodpasture tries to push its way through, but JP2's defense, spearheaded by Ed Aguilar, makes the stop. is 2nd and 6 currently for the Knights. You know, last year senior night shared it with homecoming, so I guess it's kind of good that the seniors get a night to their own this time. The cross-country and golf teams will be honored at halftime, in case you were wondering. As they try to go wide on that one, it's no good, but he will actually successfully cross the first down line. It looks like there's a possibility he stepped out about a yard short. 2 yards short. Well, you know, my depth perception is clearly A+ today. Thank you, Stephen, for the encouragement. Currently, the Baylor game is the only other one going on at the moment, due to our 6 o'clock start time, an earlier start time. It's 6:23 and it's dark though, which is insane. And it looks like they're gonna cross there. They will move the chains. Goodpasture advances forward. And so the snap. And JPII immediately puts up a wall of defenders to stop them. Play is halted. I just noticed now you have an "I almost escaped" sticker.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
You know I escaped.
I'm aware, Ollie. Thank you.
You're welcome. To look at it, it's great. As JPII is dancing in their student section right now. I can't keep a straight face. It's 3rd and 5 here on the 25-yard line. This is the longest drive Goodpasture's had, and it looks like he will be able to force his way over. Coach Jocelyn at the 50-yard line is calm, cool, and collected right now. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of the field, Coach Geisinger is definitely more into his clipboard at the moment and definitely drafting up some plays for JP2. Geisinger was once the defensive coordinator for JP2 under Coach Jocelyn and has now inherited the head coach role after his time in the NFL. Definitely has quite the different coaching staff than Coach J had. Brian Sneed was there for some time when Coach J was the head coach of the Knights. Underhill was able to make the stop there for the Knights. Zanger's playing wide here. And the snap is once again, he's going to go short for the handoff there, tries to go wide. So immediately something I've noticed, Goodpasture has not used, or I think they've used their passing game once tonight, and it was unsuccessful. So Goodpasture is definitely not into the pass game at the current moment, for sure. So it's 3rd and 6 on the 37-yard line at the current moment. JP2 trying to make a stop here as we go to the end of the quarter. JP2 currently leading the Goodpasture Cougars by a score of 15-0. It's senior night here. Throwaway. John Martinez almost made that stop for the Knights. However, the Cougars very capable of breaking Martinez's stop. So Underhill goes deep for the Knights. This time he's the only one deep. Keaton is not. Darton looking to block the punt, surprisingly. as it is up and short for sure. Underhill says let it go. As the ball rolls, Underhill steps him off. Ball rolls to about the 28-yard line. So it's a 1st and 10 for the Knights. This is the furthest distance JPII has had to go since their opening drive in the first quarter. Goodpasture, choosing to defer, will get the ball back at the beginning of the second half. So there's a possibility if they can stop the Knights here, they'll be able to do some damage to the Knights, as 15 points is not too much of a deficit. And the snap, Nixon fakes the handoff there and is forced to scramble, which he does. You know, they have classifications for quarterbacks. They have pocket thrower, playmaker, scrambler. Nixon very well goes in the scrambler category. That's not a bad thing. I think that's very decent and useful to the Knights. The Knights can use to their advantage, but boy, does that boy scramble. Like eggs, you know, I was thinking the exact same thing. Isn't that weird? Hey, remember when Kat called this thing hand egg? Kathleen White, throwback way back to sophomore year, my sophomore year. You know, I'd still name the files hand egg if you didn't have to, and that's quite the hit there that Roberts took. Let's take a second and realize here, Antoine Roberts went from middle school football, where he is probably the largest player on the field, to going up against teams like Baylor and getting hit by those guys, who are rather brawny men, to say the least. Not boys, they are men.
It's about 0.2 or 0.3 off the JPII right there.
At least. And Underhill carries there with a stiff arm and is able to find his way through. Underhill putting a little more force there, and Underhill fumbles for the second fumble of the game. And the Knights and Cougars are fighting for this one. Underhill steps away. They have lost the ball, it looks like. Underhill disheartened here. And Goodpasture with the recovery. Unbelievable. And we have a flag on the play here. This could be over-obsessive celebration. Nixon charges back onto the field, though, so it seems as the Knights did recover. It's unsportsmanlike. So the fumble recovery was by the Knights. Surprisingly, Underhill on his senior night might be kicking himself in the butt a little more there. Steven's solving a Rubik's Cube, which I'm quite intrigued by. So it's 1st and 10 on the 17-yard line now. And Underhill's throw goes high and wide. So I'll tell you what, it is currently 6:33, and yet it feels like it's 8:30. Am I wrong?
Weather app says it's 70 degrees outside.
You may be looking in Copernico. Yeah, I was like, that's 50. Possibly in Copernico, you know, Mexico, but Nixon Stetson gets the snap, hands to Underhill. Underhill finds his, or attempts to find his way through there, is stuffed by Goodpasture, and then finds a way out of that to push his way onward to make it 3rd down and roughly 3. Here, Steven, put your hands in front of the space heater. Leave him there for a bit. Just go wide. The Knights trying to find their way through there. Underhill with the carry there for the Knights. But it looks like it'll be 4th down and roughly 1. Nixon looks to be walking off the field there, possibly maybe getting the play call. Roberts thinking he's subbing in. And Nixon's going to find his way back onto the field. Underhill's going to check out for Roberts. And so the Knights are going for it on 4th and 1, and Roberts clearly going to be the Knights' weapon here. Goodpasture has left a hole open on the left side of Roberts. It's going to be handed off, and Roberts looks like he may have gotten it. Antoine Roberts did. It's a first down for the Knights with 8 yards to go. So it's 1st and goal for the Knights. You know, we didn't get to whammy because Zanger, we probably should have whammied on Zanger's run into the end zone. I mean, that's my thought. You mean, obviously you don't care. Nixon ready. And it looks like we have an offsides on the Cougars. I didn't see a false start from the Knights, so it's possible. And it looks like it will be offsides on the Cougars. So ball will advance half to goal here. So definitely going for it was good for the Knights. His clock is running here with 8 minutes to go in this game. And the snap from Nixon. Nixon hands to Roberts, and Roberts finds the end zone. So Antoine Roberts, the young gun, into the end zone. I'm waiting for them to chant he's a freshman. Doesn't seem like they're... There it is. Kick is up and good for the Knights. That's a whammy from Nicholas Zanger.
These things taste way too good.
So Zanger sets to kick. Currently 22-0. You know, I make a cameo on this week's episode of Whammy, or I guess last week's episode of Whammy. I really think you guys should check it out. Whammy, releasing every Friday on the Herald on the Hill on podcast, hosted by Garrett Bennett, Nicholas Zanger, and technical support by Kyle Antony. We use Whammy's warm-ups as well. Although I feel like when Zanger joins us, because Nicholas Zanger will be joining us for joining the KSN team for basketball season, to commentate alongside me or Garrett, depending on when Garrett can show up. And Zanger goes for a short kick there. And immediately he is swarmed by the Knights. Roberts is going to be the one possibly to get that stop. Deuce Drennan will actually get the credit. Deuce Drennan, younger brother of Whit Drennan. JPII student section definitely has been going down as one of the best this year. I can't remember them being this hype since my freshman year, at least. And even then, I think that this one can be deemed a little bit more. I also may be biased. I also think we deserve the Golden Munch tray. Back to the game. And the Knights trying to put a stop on number 4 there, and it looks like they'll be able to find their way through. Martinez seems to be the one to almost get that. Martinez actually is standing, so maybe not. Deuce Drennan. I've just noticed that. So Austin, Steven has a question. From our program, we'd be able to chroma key something out of the field since it's that green, right? my greatest masterpiece. I have to tell you at halftime. And the Knights pushing back there. Looks like another loose ball, possibly in JP2's possession. And it seems as though it'll still be in Goodpasture's possession. Making it 3rd and 8. And they try to go wide and it's just short there. Although almost pass interference. What offense would I be taking? Amateur is the way we prefer. Amateur is the way we prefer to be called. With 6 minutes and 23 seconds left in the game, in the half, they will set to kick to the Knights. Current time is 6:40. So here's the circumstances thus far, and we are off. We will be sure to check in on the scores at the half, but right now, here's the synopsis. If we win, there's a possibility of us getting a home game. However, if Father Ryan wins, they will have more division wins than us. Therefore, there's a possibility we play them if Baylor loses. If Baylor also wins, we will play Baylor at Baylor. Now, if both Father Ryan and Baylor lose, that means that we will play Father Ryan here. So it's quite the extravaganza. Oh, for sure. I believe Father Ryan's playing Lipscomb, which is the problem, because easy opponent. So. And Roberts catches that pass there, and Roberts is going to find his way down. Roberts is going to find his way through yet another hole and get taken down at the 35-yard line there. Antoine Roberts, the freshman superstar right now. If they played him all season, this boy had a chance to make All-State. As the student section chants, he's a freshman. I can't believe he's a freshman. Antoine Roberts definitely has quite the skill set in his arsenal for sure. As Nixon is back out there for a 1st and 10 from the 35. And the snap, Nixon once again hands to Roberts. Roberts flicks it back and goes wide to Underhill for a touchdown, Knights. So things we just can't believe here, but yet another touchdown off of the lateral 2. And so JP2 exerting early dominance here.
It's over. The computer just completely shut down. Stop. They're having problems with all our computers.
And so Zenger on a poor snap is able to still put it off the goal post. After a poor snap there, none of that is blamable. Don't forget the cross-country and golf teams are being honored tonight. Well, we said we were going to do the drone if we ever stream the cross-country game. Hey, remember that path that we found over at Hendersonville Christian, right? Yeah, they used that for a cross-country meet one time.
Hey, you just strap GoPros on every member of the cross country.
Oh, we want to strap GoPros to every member of the football team, but, like, apparently that's frowned upon. And Zenger rushes at that ball like a furious man. definitely upset that he missed that. Roberts trying to come in for the tackle. Roberts will meet him for the tackle there. However, it seems like Jones or Brown not playing. May be able to. Anton Roberts will get qualified. Words are hard. Will get credited with the sack. And a stop there, heavy for the Knights. Darden, power all the way there. As weird as this half feel like it's going by very fast, which stinks because the last two always take quite some time. And it seems like we have a false start on Goodpasture, who's going to step back. They knew. And immediately on a run there. And hopefully it's here.
Right?
Hey, good seeing you again, sir.
See you, buddy. Y'all be good.
Yeah, usual, sir. Well, you're a legal adult. You can do what you want.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, not Steven. Not Steven. All right. I am back. Possibly we might have just got some viewers from WHIN. If so, welcome. Most likely not. All righty. It's going to be a hard no. You know, credit to Goodpasture. They brought their own tents out there. And once again, another snap there. The Knights pushing back on some resistance. No forward progress. Which brings it to about a 4th and 2. Possibly a 4th and 1. It'll be a first. Unbelievable. They will call forward progress on that. Oh, that is cold. That is a cold chair. I forget that metal is very cold in the winter.
Metal was cold. I had a rolling chair. I was going to bring it.
Rain actually isn't that bad at the moment. Ah, you jinxed us.
We got a tent.
It's gonna be side rain. And what a stop there! He's just sandwiched by two Knights, flying through the air. I was gonna say fluing through the air, but it's plural. Jordan Phillips is really getting some playing time and definitely making some stops at the moment. On his senior night, snap. And once again, the Knights just putting a stop on that there. It looks like it's going to be Darden and Aguilar with a stop on that one. Seems like Goodpasture's talking some smack towards Ed Aguilar. Doesn't it feel like forever ago when we were talking about the Whites Creek guy that would commentate everything that was happening in the play live over their microphone? And it looks like we have a timeout. You know, timeouts are my favorite time of the day because I get to sit down, and that has been ruined by the weather. So I am going to sit down on a cold chair with pride. Since it's only the first half, we won't be taking a break, but... All right, so let's go into some analysis currently. JPII with a firing offense here and a powerful defense that they showed early on in this season, which kind of proves the theory that they should be playing in a higher up or in a lower division. However, JPII has been making not only some stops. Steven, it's yours if you want it. As the game gets back going, I try to stand, but I think I'm frozen to the chair at the moment. I don't think that's a joke. Ooh. 3 minutes and 35 seconds left in this half. Coach Jocelyn has used his first timeout. with the snap, trying to come out of the pocket there. He will find a receiver at the 48-yard line, enough to get him to move the chains. So Goodpasture has their first chance to cross the 50 here in the second quarter. In the later half of the second quarter, might I add. Hint the emphasis in my voice. I'm saying they're playing poorly, giving me that look. However, they've shown some courage in this drive and have definitely been pushing forward, trying to not be blown out by the Knights. And coming out there on the PA, and no good. So it was a PA there, PA pass if you want me to be 100% specific. However, no good there. And snap once again with the PA, and he's going to find a receiver there who is going to be forced out of bounds here. The question is where on the marker. So Deuce Drennan was able to force him to lose his balance in that moment. Do you want the last piece? And this one's going to be a handoff here as he's going to find his way through the hole, and it looks like the possibility of a first down. So JP2's defense now has begun to show holes as it's a 2nd and 1. Possibly second, it is a 2nd and inches. The 15-yard line, the intended first down. And it will be a first down. They will say they converted. Interesting, to say the least. As the clock continues to run, the snap here, and he's immediately met by the JP2 defense, but Jordan Phillips is going to be the one to take. Or I'm sorry, I saw 2 and thought it was Phillips. Aguilar, though, definitely to help with the takedown there. And so it's 2nd and 12 here. Goodpasture well into field goal range, though. The possibility of putting some points on the board. Coach Jay, cautious with his timeouts here, does not take the penalty here, and that play just goes wide. So JP2's defense has snapped back into character. Although it looks like Haggerty did make the stop there. Heard some boos, though. There was a possibility of a flag on the play, but no. And he's going to try to pass wide, and that pass will go short, and looks like we have pass interference, which may move the chains. So he was not called for it the first time, to say the least. You know, credits to Goodpasture for that one just from the distance. And so it will be first down. since it's a 15-yarder. And so Goodpasture with another chance to get through to the end zone. James Wright, stop for the Knights. And so there he laterals away, Trey taking a play out of the Knights playbook there. Or the real question, were the Knights taking a play out of Goodpasture's playbook? And it looks like there will, we can't tell if this is an injury timeout or not. However, it looks like Wright is the one coming off the field. It is. It's an official's timeout here. So I'm going to take a quick break. Oh, dude. All right, and we're back here. Right, healthy for a 3rd and 5 on the 10-yard line. And the snap. He's going to try to rush through. No good, but in very decent field goal position. So the Cougars with 38 seconds left. The Knights still have plenty of timeouts to ice their kicker at the same time. And they won't be bringing out their kicking squad. So we have enough time for one play. The snap. Forced and no good, so the Knights will pick up on the 6-yard line, possibly the 7. So Jake Motes, Ed Aguilar, and a flurry of seniors go out here to end the first half. 11 seconds remaining. And so Nixon takes the knee. And so here at the end of the first half, your Knights lead 28-0. Stellar offense and defense, to say the least. It's senior night here from the castle but it's not the castle, we're not in the gym. And so for possibly our last halftime here, we're going to take a quick break.
Boys, they play with all the
Oh, he just smacked him. And we're back as the rain has started to come down here for the second half. Hey, Mr. Williams, aren't you glad that we brought you down in here now? Rain is coming down in a flurry now. Oh, wait, that's my glove. Hey. Hey, Austin, are we live? It looks like that's unplugged. Okay. Student section passionately chants D up. It's the beginning of the third quarter here between the Goodpasture Cougars and your JPII Knights. JPII on the return of Coach Jocelyn leads the former coach 28-0 after the first half. Goodpasture received the kick after they chose to defer. Now that you're all caught up, my name is Oliver Anton, and you've been tuning into the one and only Night Sports Network. If you're just joining us now, we're so glad to have you, and we hope that we can give you a good game for the rest of it. At the end of the first half from Baylor, Baylor leads the Big Red 10-7. The Big Red hoping to stop that. However, a Baylor win wouldn't be bad for the Knights. However, it could be good for the Knights, really. If Father Ryan and Baylor both lose, we'll play Father Ryan here. If Father Ryan only wins, as that ball has to be thrown away. If Father Ryan just wins, we play Father Ryan at Father Ryan. If both lose, we play Father Ryan. It's weird. Yeah. Well, all three of us have the same amount of division wins. Lipscomb threw off how the division works right now, so. And it's intentional grounding on the Cougars. And I'm sorry, I will correct myself. Baylor leads 17-7 now at the end of the first half. The first one I had was with 6 minutes left. Interesting. So it's going to be a 2nd and 12. 2nd and 15. Wow, okay. And JPII immediately gets behind their line of scrimmage, their side of the line of scrimmage. Words. Fakes, and the coaching staff calls pass. Pratt was chasing there, but did not matter as it becomes 3rd and 15. Let me tell you, the rain came and the rain just decided to come down. You can't see it on camera, sadly. Well, I don't know if that's a sadly, but I bet you're probably glad you're tuning into the Night Sports Network right now. Oh, see, now you can see it on screen. And the snap, that's an airplane flying over. It sounded like thunder, though, under pressure there. And it looks like Wright took him down there. It's John Martinez, I'm sorry. So it's 4th and 20 there. Nolan Underhill at the 40-yard line to receive for the Knights. And so not too far of a kick, though. Ball drops at the 35-yard line. 45, I'm sorry. Theo Naganor was joining Underhill out on the field, just in case you were wondering. And a poor snap there. Nixon fires wide, finds Pratt, and Pratt's gonna find his way all the way down for a touchdown, JP2. Jordan Phillips, receives the catch on his senior night. So we have the possibility of running clock. Hopefully the Knights will get a decent snap this time so Zanger can put it through the uprights. Last one was bobbled. Zanger just kind of kicked a flat ball there and still got some air on it. And it's through the uprights. So it's 35-0. Father Ryan currently trails the Macaulay Blue Tornado 31-7 with 4 minutes left in their first half. Just in case you were wondering, so there's a possibility the Knights play the Baylor Red Raiders. Zanger kicks off and muffed there, but attempting to recover here as he gets to about the 20-yard line before being officially met by a few Knights. Devin Darden was there to make the stop for the Knights. The student section, some of whom brought umbrellas, is still standing proud and tall. Oh, good, so we don't have an umbrella. That defeats the purpose, but okay. And the snap. Once again, they try going wide. And he's got some distance. Phillips is trying to catch up to him. Phillips will be able to push him out of bounds at about the 10-yard line. Jordan Phillips, who's definitely seen some playing minutes tonight, able to put the stop on. So next to Antoine Roberts, Jordan Phillips definitely gets to go up for tonight's KSN Player of the Game. Although I don't have Garrett with me, so there really won't be able to be a consensus on this.
I say yes.
And so, for the first time, they're really deep into the red zone. Well, for the second time. So Andrew Albert there, another senior, makes the stop for the Knights. Steven, don't yawn, because then you're going to make... Oh, let's yawn.
What'd you say, Oliver?
And it looks like he will be down on the 1. I kind of love Andrew Albert there. He's standing all the way up to the side going, yeah, we stopped him. And she's like, what did you do, Andrew? Stop. So JP2 calls the timeout. The only game that there's running clock. Take all time. This fine gives me an opportunity to sit down. So the real question is here, who do you think is going to pull it off? Will Baylor be able to pull off this upset over Montgomery Bell Academy? Or is there a possibility that they lose and we bring Father Ryan to town? Although Baylor also has a losing, like Baylor's record's worse than ours. So it's really confusing on who we play right now. Macaulay, though, the three seed. Because oddly, for the first time in D2AA history, the number 3 seed will have to play a game. They won't get a bye after the addition to Lipscomb to our division. As play resumes. Looks like there's a flag on the play. It's an illegal procedure, so it's definitely helping the Knights. So I believe if NBA loses this game, seeding goes as such. Brentwood Academy will take the number 1 seed, followed closely by the Ensworth Tigers, thirdly by the Macaulay Blue Tornado, fourthly by NBA, and Goodpasture puts it in for their first touchdown. Steven. The Cougar faithful still making some noise. Meanwhile, the Cougar student section is long and gone. And the kick is up. And good. That kid has a leg. It's 35-7 now, with 6 minutes and 36 seconds left in this quarter. Start packing up. Cool? Yeah. It's one thing to remix it, it's another to play it. Nicholas Zanger was really getting into that there. And that kick goes deep. Roberts bobbles it, and Roberts picks it up and is immediately met by Goodpasture there. Roberts took that one straight to the head there. He's right back up, though. And so Onaganor tries to get through there and gets 12 yards for the gain for the Knights. So Nolan Underhill, after a bye year that he took last year off, and definitely improved his speed after running cross country. It's now off to the races. Theo Onaganor still the back here, and Onaganor once again finds another hole, and Onaganor is off yet again, this one to be about a 17-yard rush. And Onaganor once again gets the handoff there. Hey, And it looks like Onaganor bobbled it, but it was able to recover as he goes down. If it ain't broke, don't fix it is definitely the philosophy that Coach Geis is running with right now. And especially before the playoffs, he's not revealing any weapons that he may have, as he's just running simple plays for his squad, as the rain does not want to stop pounding down on us. It was definitely a pleasure to start this one early. And a low snap there. Nixon pulls his way out of the pocket and under pressure fires it away, and the possibility to be no good there. Wright was the intended receiver there, but no good for the Knights. We have a flag on the play, though, possible pass interference. Maybe a roughing the passer, but I believe it. So the penalty is against the Knights there. So the Knights are back to a 3rd and 9. Although it seems like we have an officials timeout right now. No one is gathering though, so it could just also be a stoppage of play. And the snap, Onaganor finds his way through with the possibility of gaining and moving the chains. They repeated the down there. So it'll be a 3rd and inches here. And Nixon fumbles and pulls his way over, though. Makes his way over. That wasn't even a fumble. His knee never hit the ground, so definitely a good recovery there from Nixon. And a fake handoff to Zanger there. Nixon tries to carry for himself, but no good. There's definitely too many following Zanger for Nixon to have the possibility of gaining some yards, as the Knights are on the 40-yard line now. As they regather and go back out. Nixon calls and snaps. And it seems as though we have a flag on the play, or at least a... Clock is not running. It's a false start on the Knights, which means that is quite the penalty. Good. That's I can't tell if we're live. Then Austin, fix your monitor. Austin. And so once again, it's just poor play from the Knights for a 3rd and long.
I like this spot.
Yeah. Did you just restart your computer? And the snap. Nixon forced out of the pocket. And Nixon, heavily forced to scramble here, reaches over and loses the ball roughly outside of field goal range.
It's way outside of our field goal range. He's like 0 for 5 in field goals.
Experiencing some technical difficulties, so kind of hoping the Knights don't score at the current moment. As the clock continues to run here, and the rain continues to pour down, and the Knights faithful surprisingly continue to remain the Knights faithful, that's for sure. Although we have a decent amount of people beginning to head for the exits as well. The snap, a dropped punt. And so Nixon is forced to punt it away there. Just the ball on the 18-yard line as rainwater just starts to begin flooding the bird's eye up here. Hey, maybe check the wiring on the back of the computer.
I'm pretty sure my adapter just got wet and it doesn't like that. I mean, as long as nobody scores, we're still live. So
You know, there's a problem here. People are going to score.
that's the problem.
Get you loaded up onto this monitor. If you can see on that monitor.
Because I can't turn it off on that monitor. I need this monitor to turn that one off. So I don't really know. Sorry. I don't really know what to do right now, so let's just start unplugging things and see what happens. Things and plug them back in until it works.
See, he says he doesn't use the Mr. Campbell method, but that's the Mr. Campbell method.
It's the Campbell method.
Plug it in and see what
The
works.
Campbell method is shout at Keegan until he fixes it.
Hey, you saw it right today during warm-ups, right? You heard what I said?
No.
I literally,
It's not a lot.
no, but there was a point right before warm-ups, like, oh, this is the point where Campbell yells at Braden, and I stopped halfway through Braden and just screamed and went, no. Hey, did you try turning the screen on?
Screen 2's on. It's on standby right now.
Love our technical difficulties here. Hey, it wouldn't be a KSN stream without technical difficulties.
No idea that we're having difficulties. It's insane, right?
Yeah, I realize. I'm pulling a Garrett. Hey, Austin, I can't mute myself, so I can't also deal with these technical difficulties without talking to you. You're the one with the power to mute me. And what a stop there by the Knights is a full-on fight going on between both sides, not a fist fight.
Takes 7 people to sack him. And the problem is we let 7 people get to him.
So the Cougars definitely finding ways to avoid the Knights.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my adapter's dead. That's always good.
Underhill and Onaganor are deep. Roberts midway.
Oh my God, stay in bounds.
And that one rolls out of bounds at about the 40-yard line, possibly the 42. Notice the 2-yard lines I said, the 40 and the 42. I had like a 10% chance of him saying, or no, a 30% chance of him saying the 41, and he said the 41. Yeah. I understand, it's just my luck. There are 13 seconds left in this third quarter. And Nixon takes for himself, finds his way through the hole to the 20, to the 15, and to the 10. Taken down at about the 8. However, it looks like the mark will be about the 10-yard line. It will. Sometimes I love refs. I feel like all 3 of them just tossed that ball for the reason of tossing the ball. Like one guy was about to put it down on the 10, then tossed it to his buddy, and then that guy was about to put it down on the 10, and then he tossed it to his friend and finally put it on the 10. Oh, football. So with that, the third quarter comes to a
I think
close.
the head ref has to put it down.
Don't fail me now.
So we are going, we would take a quick break here. However, that is not.
I got it now. We're gonna run this thing from my phone. Remember to boost up.
Did you download the Wirecast app?
No. It's a screen share from my computer.
Dang it.
Oh, we're in now.
So officially at halftime for Father Ryan, it is 38-7, the Blue Tornado from Father Ryan. Meanwhile, from Montgomery Bell Academy, let's see if the second half has started. And no, there's about 2 minutes left in their half as the snap from Nixon goes to Onaganor, and Onaganor scores. So touchdown JP2.
10, but the number changed.
It's worth it.
Long snap.
That's also the move.
Nothing has changed.
Go to college to long snap.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Sorry, man.
And Zanger puts it through the uprights.
What happened to the other guy?
Oh, their system crashed.
So he just left?
Yep. He works for WHIN radio, so if the radio shows a no-go, the radio shows a no-go, and they play something else.
Hey, look on the bright side. The score is still correct for now.
No, it's not. Yes, it's 42-7 now. Notice I promised Steven he wouldn't be running camera tonight, and then
It's not a close game, so I think if it was a close game, I'm sure people would be pretty upset about that.
I mean, if it were the Father Ryan game, people would be more upset. And so Zanger sets to kick, and we're off.
Tell me when the best time for you to stand still is. Well, at the end of this play, I'm going to blank this out.
And he finds his way through a few JP2 defenders here. It's taken multiple JP2 defenders to take their squad down, to say the least. Steven, you can use the viewfinder on that. Oh, is it in? Sometimes when it goes through the HDMI, it lets you use the viewfinder.
Well,
This is why we need a Nerf scope.
I don't know any keyboard shortcuts to clear stuff, so.
Good. Start mashing buttons.
Start just doing, just hold down command and start typing every other key. That's a really bad idea.
Why? What are you afraid is going to come up?
Command Q is the first that comes to mind. Oh yeah, that would actually be the first one you do. Yeah. Command Q and then hit enter real quick. Enter what? Oh yeah. It wasn't have a stream.
And once again, Goodpasture trying to find more and more holes in the JP2 defense. There was a flag on the play. My beautiful people, I am back. Currently, the score reads 42-7 with 8 minutes and 8 seconds left. We're gonna take a second for my good friend Austin Wilhite there as he comes off the field. That one wasn't me, Mr. Williams, I promise. Nope. And the snap is they're going to find their way through, and it's going to be a touchdown for the Cougars, which will make it 42-14 here from the Shining City on the hill. Yes. Yeah, imagine it with a... Yeah, you know how it's like slightly tilted now? It's because we had too many people up here. It used to not be tilted. Oh, just you can slowly notice that it tilts downward. It used to not do that. Yeah. Oh, not as bad as White's Creek's. Yeah, White's Creek's was the worst. So pretend this is White's Creek's press box. This was the flat, and then like the second half of it just slanted down continuously. And hey, Steven, I wouldn't just because it's in this ear and the mic's right here. Let's not risk that. Yeah. And the carry there from Haggerty. Sorry, Sawyer Watts carries. So Watts is receiving snaps now. Sawyer, the backup quarterback for the Knights. It's coming for you, Mr. Williams. It's getting closer each and every time. And the snap, Watts bobbles the snap, and Sawyer is way back now.